Welcome to Cardiff, Wales International Airport and our Tonteg Flyer newly painted Cessna 182. We're going to take a short flight in this light aircraft around some of the areas of South Wales. We'll only be flying around 40 or 50 miles radius from Cardiff Airport, and I hope you enjoy the flight. I hope it'll give you some idea of the area where we live. Well, it's a nice clear blue sky here at Cardiff. I'm just leaving the flying club area of the airport, and we shall now taxi out to the main runway and make a takeoff for our flight around some of the sights of Wales. Okay, we're all set to go. We shall be flying at around 1800-2000 feet, and hopefully at that altitude get a very good view of the scenery of Wales as we fly over it. So we're just leaving Cardiff, Wales International Airport, and we live about 20 miles from the airport to the northeast of the airport. We're now flying over the area of Barry, which is probably around 5 or 8 miles away from the airport itself, and the large beach below the aircraft now is Barry Island. At one point in time, Barry docks, along with Cardiff, were the world's largest coal exporting docks. So Barry Island just below the rear of the aircraft now. Barry docks to the left-hand wing. Now I will follow the coastline here for a short period of time. The island in front is known as Sully Island and is completely surrounded in water at high tide, though there is a causeway between Sully Island, which is now under the right wing, and Sully itself, which is now under the left wing. I have myself been trapped on that island for 12 hours, having walked across the causeway, not looking at the time of the tides, and being caught on the island. Now making a gentle turn towards the area of Penarth and Cardiff. Underneath me now is the area of Cosmiston Lakes. There is an Iron Age settlement there, and a very nice, pleasant place to go for a stroll around the lake. Now turning towards the headland of Penarth. The beaches at this point are pebble. Straight ahead of the aircraft now is Cardiff Bay. Just below the right hand wing now is the new Cardiff Barrage, which keeps this bay full of water at all times. We have a 40-foot tide in this area of South Wales. I think it's the second highest in the world, and when I was a boy this area often was just mud flats. But now it is maintained as a water frontage, and a lot of development has gone on with some very nice areas around Cardiff Bay itself. We then have the large area of Cardiff Docks, which, as I said earlier, was at one point in time the world's busiest coal port. And it was here that the first cheque for £1 million was at one point written in the 1800s for a shipment of coal. I'm going to turn to my left now, fly over Cardiff Docks, and we will head up over the city of Cardiff. The large building just in front of the aircraft now, the large square building, is the Wales Millennium Rugby Stadium. It's a 74,000 seater stadium, used mainly for rugby, but these days also for various concerts and other sporting events. Cardiff now has a population of around about 300,000 and is of course the capital city of Wales. Now the river that can be seen is the River Taff, and that is why Welshmen have a nickname of Taffies. Now making another gentle left turn following a major road which is called the Western Avenue, which leads on to the Eastern Avenue, and that road is going to shortly cross over the river, and then below the right wing of the aircraft will be the area where I was born, Llandaff. So we're now over Llandaff, and underneath the right wing is a weir, or a little waterfall, Llandaff Rowing Club, Llandaff Cathedral. It's right underneath the aircraft now, and the area of Llandaff where I grew up. Now I will turn north and we will follow the river, and we'll head towards the areas of Caerphilly and Pontypridd. We're now passing over a very large quarry, it's known as the Steatley Quarry. Largely roadstone quarried here. The area below is now Rhondda and Morganstown. There is a castle on the hill here called Castle Cork, which doesn't show very particularly well on this particular scenery. Village below the wing now is a wonderful name, Gwaelod y Garth, situated on the base of that little mountain which is called the Garth Mountain. Now going to make a right hand turn towards Caerphilly. Large industrial unit underneath the aircraft now is the GE jet engine overhaul plant. They service the engines here for most of the major airlines these days and all types of jet engines, and that's where my son did his original apprenticeship. We're now over the area of Caerphilly. which has a very large castle. I'm now circling above Caerphilly mountain, and Caerphilly has one of the largest castles in Wales, and one of its towers was blown up but not successfully destroyed, and it now leans at a greater angle than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. We're just coming over the castle and its moat now, underneath the aircraft now. I'm now going to head slightly west and pick up the main road again for the Pontypridd area. So we're now going back down the main road and over the GE aircraft plant once again. Having just passed the GE plant, we will head north, following the main road below the aircraft, which is the A470, and in the distance are the valleys of the Rhondda Valleys, a very major coal industrial area until the 1980s, when the whole of the coal industry was basically decimated. Up until that time, this was one of the major coal producing areas of the world, and it produced very high quality coal. River Taff, just to the left hand tip of the left hand wing, and that will flow all the way up into the Rhondda Valleys. Now, as I turn the aircraft, the area underneath the left wing now is Tontaig, where TT Flyer lives. So we're now making a circle over the Tontaig area. This is Tontaig, and then we shall level out and follow the river further up towards Pontypridd. The countryside around this part of Wales is gentle, rolling sort of countryside, and if we follow the valley to the right hand side of the aircraft now, we would reach the town of Merthyr Tydfil. And if I follow the valley to the left hand wing, I would follow the Rhondda Valleys. There are several Rhondda Valleys, and we will basically fly up over the hills between the two. So we are now flying between the Rhondda Valley and the Merthyr Tydfil Valley. So much of this part of Wales involves settlements that are based in the base of the valleys or along the sides of the valleys. most of which originated because of heavy industry with coal and iron and steel. We're now heading towards Aberdare, and the high peaks here, the highest peak in the Brecon Beacons area, which is the area now ahead of the aircraft, is just over 2,000 feet. I need to climb a little higher now so that I maintain my distance between the ground. We're now nearing Merthyr Tydfil, and the big factory below the aircraft now was at one point the Hoover factory, manufacturing the Hoover washing machines. I'm now north of Merthyr Tydfil, and the ridge on the left hand side is Penavon, which is the highest point in this area, very popular with walkers. I shall head back towards Merthyr Tydfil, and in the valley ahead of us are a number of reservoirs which feed the Cardiff area. Then I shall make a turn to my right, and we shall head back towards the coast and return to Cardiff Airport. So again, the road below the aircraft now is still the A470. If you continue to follow that all of its way, it will take you back to Cardiff, and if you follow it behind the aircraft and continue north, it will take you all the way up to North Wales and the Carnarvon area. These are the Cardiff reservoirs. making a slight turn now. We're going to head slightly southwest. We're heading towards Swansea now, and there's another large open cast quarry here. We're now in the Swansea area, and Swansea is at the head of what is known as the Gower Peninsula. We are on the north side of the Gower Peninsula here. This area was famous for cockles at one point, and we will follow the coastline now around some of the beautiful beaches of the Gower Peninsula. The beach ahead and to the left of the aircraft, so I'm going to turn now, is a beautiful beach called Rhondda. It's a beautiful long stretch of beach, and the headland at the top of the picture now is known as Worm's Head. So I shall now follow the coastline of the Gower Peninsula, and I shall point out one or two of the famous beaches as we fly over. So we're now over the village of Rhondda. Now turning over the beach at Port Einan. That is the beach that is now under the nose of the aircraft. Port Einan. And as we leave Port Einan, we will fly over a headland which leads us to Oxwich Bay. So Porthynnon and Oxwich. Now the headland that is jutting out into the sea, which will now become in front of the nose of the aircraft, is the Mumbles area. And then in the bay to the left hand side is actually the city of Swansea. The one beneath the aircraft now is Three Cliffs Bay. When the tide is out, this is an absolutely beautiful bay. It's not the easiest one to get to because you have to walk on the main road, down the cliffs or through the valley, but it is a beautiful beach. It's one of my wife's favourites, Three Cliffs Bay. Heading now towards the headland of the Mumbles. There are also a number of smaller bays here, Caswell Bay, Langland Bay, very popular with holidaymakers, easy to reach from where we live. This area is within an hour of where we live, so easily accessible, a very, very pretty area. They have maintained the natural look of this area, and it is referred to as an area of outstanding natural beauty, and development is very restricted on here so that it retains its natural appearance. There is a small airport at the rear of the aircraft now, Swansea Airport, used mainly for light aircraft, similar to the one that I'm flying at the moment. So we're now over Mumbles Head. There is a lifeboat station here, and the bay the other side of the aircraft now is Swansea Bay. Now we're at the eastern end of Swansea Bay now. There is a very, very large steelworks located just behind the aircraft here at Port Talbot. And we're now heading back along the South Wales coast to Cardiff Airport. This is Porthcawl, small harbour below the aircraft, the main beach, and a smaller beach just behind the aircraft. That's Porthcawl. Again, a very popular place here. And this, in the days of the mining industry, was a very popular holiday resort for the miners during their 2 weeks holiday. So this is the Porthcawl area, and below the nose of the aircraft now is a very large holiday caravan park. We're now heading back towards Cardiff Airport, which can now be seen in the distance. The coast along this particular stretch becomes quite rocky, and there are actually two airports ahead of the aircraft now. One is RAF St Athan, which obviously was an RAF station and is still used for certain flights, and the furthest one away is Cardiff Airport. So we will follow this little bit of coastline around and make our approach into Cardiff from the sea. just passing RAF St Athan now on the left hand side of the aircraft, and then we shall fly around the headland and make our final approach into Cardiff, Wales International Airport. Welcome back to Cardiff, Wales Airport. We will land on runway 30 and make a turn to the left and back to the flying club. Hope you enjoyed the trip. Of course, this is just but a small part of Wales, just the South Wales area. We've travelled no further than about 50 miles from the airport at any point. Hope it gave you a little taste of what the countryside around us is like. Thanks for watching.